It's at the height of British imperialism. British laws, the common law, was being exported to Britain's colonial states, and in many cases those laws remain on the statute books today.
This criminal code that we inherited was filled with antiquated laws and did not reflect who we are as a people, who we wanted to become as a people.
And those laws reflect the times in which they were made, 17th, 18th century laws, and attitudes towards women and girls and other marginalised groups, for example, LGBTIQ people, people with disability.
These laws exist all over, and it's prejudicial. I think it's important that the Commonwealth really start looking seriously at their legislations and what they have. If you're really looking to protect all people, then that's where you need to start. How do we handle criminals and how do we protect victims? First of all, it wasn't gender neutral. Boys weren't protected under that piece of legislation.
All the global data really emphasises that the numbers are very disproportionate towards women and girls being the victims and survivors. Of course, sexual violence also is committed against men and boys.
You know, I just think that the rape has to be gender neutral. It's crazy that we have a rape law which assumes that only men can rape women.
In India, more than 72% population face sexual violence in their lives, including men and boys. Before 2013, oral rape or rape with object was not covered into the definition.
Well, it's a shocking incident of brutal rape in the capital. A case that's evoked national outrage.
They say that maybe that instrument was inserted, or maybe that they...
We want justice for the 23-year-old rape survivor.
So the government learned lots of things from that case, and government added rape with objects in the Indian Penal Code. All these components are very useful for the survivors, for justice as well as the rehabilitation of the survivors.
इंदौर जिले के केस की बात करेंगे और उनका पति जो वो क्या करता था कि उस महिला का जो प्राइवेट पार्ट्स हैं उस पे वो ताला लगा के रखता था और चाबी अपने जूते के अंदर रख के लेके जाता था और करीबन वो सालों तक के रहा। पति को 10 साल की सजा हुई है।
Powerful laws are playing a very crucial role for changing the practices in the society, especially related to the rape or sexual violence.
The Indian Penal Code is quite comprehensive. If you look at the exception to the provision of rape, sexual intercourse by a man with his own wife is not rape.
Came from the British colonial law based on the idea that the woman is the property of the man, and therefore he can do what he wants with his property.
So these gaps leave a lot of excuses for perpetrators. That we've seen this gone to court a dozen times here in Kenya. Because of this, marital rape continues to take place in so many homes.
Niko na wasichana wawili, naomba hiyo nisipendi wakuja wapitie vile dhulma zenye mimi nilipata ndani ya ndoa. Sasa vile nilirepiwa, sikujua ninaweza kuenda wapi. Kwambia yeye ako na right kwako, anaweza kufanya anytime yenye anapata. Ataenda huko, nini lawyer, atasimama na hao, yani hiyo kesi itaenda hivi. Lakini kama inaweza kuenda vizuri, nipate justice, ashikwe, apanish, inaweza kufanya hata watu wengine pia wawache hiyo tabia kudhulumia wanawake.
Updating our criminal code was such a powerful message to all Belizeans. We are trying to destigmatize sexual violence and make it real that it does happen and it's been happening forever. And so what we're seeing now is an increase in reporting of these crimes.
But what we've had was a significant revamping of the criminal code with regards to rendering rape gender neutral, with regards to an object being used to rape a person, with regards to equalizing the age of consent.
Coincidentally, at the same time we were updating the criminal code, Section 53 was in the courts.
Section 53 essentially penalized consenting adults for what they did in their bedroom, and that penalty was up to 10 years in prison, thereby giving the state the control over LGBT citizens' lives. The case to declare Section 53 unconstitutional.
We are an extremely patriarchal society, and nothing challenges patriarchy more than a woman saying that she wants to be with another woman and she doesn't need a man. And I believe if you're a lesbian in this culture, you are at the bottom end of the totem pole.
We've had cases from corrective rape of lesbians to aggravated assault cases for people. We've had a few murder reports as well. In an ideal world, we would have politicians stand up for minorities and the people who are not represented.
Everybody in Parliament told me, Esther, you shouldn't talk about this in public. I realized something, that I have to stand up for what is right. I would hate to see somebody jailed for 14 years just because he was sexually inclined in a different way. I think the best thing to do is to decriminalize it. Why make them live in fear?
Seychelles had the reviews by the United Nations, and in 2011 Seychelles made that commitment that it would decriminalize.
The Constitution of Seychelles makes provision for all persons to be free from discrimination on all grounds.
We had signed up to a number of conventions, and pressure was being applied to live up to what we had signed up to.
It was former President James Michel's State of the Nation address in the Assembly, in which he mentioned that Seychelles had become so tolerant that it was really anathema to our society to still criminalize homosexual acts.
It takes guts, boldness for somebody, a president, to acknowledge that we are not a transphobic or homophobic country, to actually ascend the law. I mean, if you look at the world, how many head of states have actually done that?
And boom, it was done. And that's it. You know, it was actually very quick and pretty painless.
Like, I felt like there was this heaviness that came off.
As you can see, the sky didn't fall. We're still here, and we're thriving as individuals, as communities, as a society, as one people.
It's change locally that ensures that we join the wider community. And you've got to constantly be pushing for that. So you mustn't look at it simply as a gender or as a transgender or as a gay rights issue, but as a transformative issue for the whole of society.
If you want to get the best out of people in their work or their life, the more inclusive and non-discriminatory you are, the better it is for everybody. Our Constitution is so clear about inclusion. It is very important that we take this forward. We ensure that no one is left out.
Let's be visionary in where we're going. How can we help you to make that bold, big, brave step?